Alright, today I want to talk about a skill. It's a mesmer ability. A while ago, you remember I did a skill spotlight. I think it was on Necro, which was kind of an idea of a feature that I didn't want to do in the end. But I want to talk about a utility here on mesmer you guys might not know much about, but I have a lot of history with. That's illusion of life. So what we're going to do in this video is talk a bit about this, and I'm going to show you today. I was running this skill. I'm going to show you every single instance of me casting it, and we're going to try and assess the value we got out of it, right? So it's a bit different to the last skill spotlight I did. Why are we talking about this? Well, recently there was a nerf to Portal, which has meant a lot of mesmers are kind of opened up and unlocked a third utility skill. Mesmers have always had obscenely powerful, very impactful utilities, and have nearly always had to dedicate one to Portal. I'm actually still of the opinion, by the way, that Portal's really good, and when I slot this, I still get at least one or two valuable plays out of it, even though the window for utilizing it is so much smaller now. But the consensus does seem to be on a broad scale. Oh, let's move away from Portal. So it's a little bit more socially acceptable to have a build that's not on it whatsoever. I decided to look at Illusion of Life. Most people aren't being creative with their new slot. They're just like, oh, I can put Signet of Midnight back on. I wasn't running that before, and now I like this skill. But I was looking at this, so way back in the day, I used to play a comp that got a ton of value out of this. Basically, we had a Power Shatter Mesmer who would run this and Portal. They'd pick up close and rotate into mid, and if we were losing mid, they could dump an Illusion of Life out, or, you know, any scenario, basically. They'd wander into an active engagement. They'd Illusion of Life and use their crazy power spike pressure to swing it, thus rallying the people who'd been Illusion of Life. And I think that still has a place in Guild Wars 2 of today. It's got this weird reputation, right, of, oh, there's so much more burst in the game now. There was always a lot of bursts, and there were a lot of far grosser burst builds, frankly, in the past too. But really, to get into the nitty-gritty of how this works, first I just got to demonstrate it. So first of all, it's an AoE res. If you have 3 guys that are downstate, you can res them all at once, and if you're playing with thieves and elementalists, and you're in comms, and I'm talking about for kind of casual ranked queues where I'm not in comms, by the way, but people can port their bodies on top of one another so that you're going to get that AoE capacity out of it most of the time. It's usually a good idea to do that anyway, guys, so that you kind of get cleaved out and your respawn time is sync up. But yeah, so you get an AoE res straight away, but it's on an obscenely short cooldown. Not even talking about any quickness access Mesmer has. The cast is just that, and it's done. And you'll see it pulses in this fairly large radius, so it's quite forgiving. And everybody's back on their feet. So then they're alive for 15 seconds, and they die again. Yeah, so you can look at this as a bit like a vengeance. It gives everyone a second chance to fight and you know, win. But it's actually a lot better than vengeance for 2 main reasons. Number 1, if you don't score a kill in your Illusion of Life and it runs out, it doesn't instantly defeat you. It just puts you in downstate again. So, and we'll see in the examples in a second. This video is about the examples. We'll get to it in a moment. The idea is actually you can Illusion of Life someone, and they can decide whether they can quickly swing a kill and rally themselves fully, or you can basically just leave the fight. You can attempt to disengage, and when Illusion of Life runs out, you can res them in luxury. And so you'll see actually here, I'm on mass invis as well. This is a Mirage build. I'm playing just basically a DPS Mirage build here. It's a tweak of a split surge variant I've done a lot of videos on recently. But I'm running mass invis. A jaunt was just nerfed at the same time as the patch the Portal was, right? So what you can do is Illusion of Life someone, disengage with them, and mass invis for the res, and the enemy doesn't actually know where you died, which is a really, really, really powerful thing to be able to pull off, as long as players know, you know, that is an option available for them. So that's one big thing, and I would say as well, that disengage potential, that disengage idea, that was a thing in Guild Wars 2 of the past where I got a lot of value in team comps running Illusion of Life. But it's even better now, because movement and disengage potential, I think, has actually been power crept over the years, and that's a far more substantial aspect of this tactic and this skill than anything to do with burst and damage and counter rallies, right? People actually have a lot of stealth access on a lot of the builds that are running around right now, and speed, which you can supplement with the massive Invis too. You also think about the kind of big open field maps that people play on in casual rank queues that didn't exist in the past, which makes this quite easy. You know, it's very easy to pull this off on Colosseum, and you'll see that soon. So yeah, you can actually disengage with people because when it runs out, unlike Vengeance, they'll just go downstate, which I actually think is, I'm going to tell you now, I think the skill's overpowered. Like, I really think it's overpowered. The other thing that's better about this than Vengeance is the actual on-res effect, which I'm sure the devs would and should nerf. It exists on Elementalist too, which is basically, this has original design implementation as a resurrection mechanic, which means if I res someone with this skill, if I AoE res people with this skill, when they stand back up, they're invulnerable. Now, you might remember that was removed a while ago. There's still like a quarter of a second on a rally or a res of invulnerability. Well, the invulnerability on this is 3 seconds long, or 2 or 3 seconds long. It's a very long period of time. So when you get your allies back up, they are free to counter burst and thus rally themselves with complete immunity. Immunity from incoming incapacitating condies like cripples and blinds. Immunity from counter stuns and whatnot. They could stand in the middle of a double cast gravity well in a team fight. You can AoE res everyone and they will be immune to any counter pressure while then delivering their own and securing their own rallies. This invulnerability is so long that if there is a double downstate scenario where, say, I have a warrior down and the enemy team has a warrior down, if I cast Illusion of Life, I res my warrior who is invulnerable and can invulnerable stomp, thus absolutely securing that he will then rally, okay? Like, you can pull off some pretty ludicrous stuff because that invulnerability is there. And yeah, it exists on, like, Glyph of Renewal for Elementalists in Fire, which has a very prohibitive cast time and is also profession with heavy reliance on utility skills, so you don't see people play around and stuff. But yeah, so that's really two extremely profound aspects of Illusion of Life. And I wanted to try it out again, so a build I have quite a lot of success on, until I get very high-rated queues where people just play Core Guard and target me, and I can't play this anymore, is basically playing a great sword Mirage that uses a lot of Infinite Horizon to just blow people up from range. I get a lot of advice from people on how to play this when they see me on it, because they see it's a great sword Mesmer, and they think it's a Shatter build. They think it's Mesmer Shatter, the meta Shatter build on GS that I'm running is actually a different setup. But yeah, I thought, hey, instead of running Portal, let's run Illusion of Life and play some Qs. So I'm going to now go through with you guys every single time I cast this over tonight, and we're going to just see what value we get out of it. And we're going to wonder if it justifies running that over new Portal, all right? And we'll see all the whiffs, and we'll see all the successes. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so the first utilization, I think it's going to be quite low value. Don't let that jade you the whole way here. But our first cast is going to be here on a Game of Forest. It looks like with the game's just began, we've got a Thief picking up close. Maybe he was AFK at the start. We've had a 4v4 in mid that it looks like we've won pretty decisively. However, here you can see that there is this Ranger who was on quite a bursty build, if I remember rightly. And his pet kills my Dragon Hunter. So I'm just going to cut. And okay, so the Ranger has killed the Dragon Hunter and he's now in stealth. Could potentially be on Rampage as one. We can actually see from the Wolf here that he's not. But, could potentially be doing something dangerous with a stomp. So I'm going to cast Illusion of Life. And the Ranger, who potentially was trying to stomp now, can no longer. So my DH now has 15 seconds. We either kill this Ranger right now, thus rezzing our guy instantly. Or we don't make it in 15 seconds. And he just goes downstate again, and I can res him comfortably. So another thing to understand about this, by the way, is the higher health the player is when Illusion of Life ends, the quicker you can res them. So if they use their heal skill and get up to 100% health, you can res them very, very, very comfortably, because they'll go into downstate at 75, I think. Anyway, so yeah, very low value, but there you go. There's a play. So I don't actually know the full context of these games as we go through these clips. I can't remember. But it looks like we have mid. There's some kind of engagement towards far here. So, my thief just went down behind this rock. Bit of an awkward position for me to see. We have 2 enemies here. But you notice the thief and I have been hitting this ranger. So there's a stomp in progress. I cast Illusion of Life. I cast Illusionary Ambush to take my aggro away. So we now have 15 seconds for him either to peel out and me res him, or to score a counter kill. So what do we go with here? Well, he goes for the peel out, so I'm going to follow him. I'm going to mass invis so that we're both stealthed pretty comfortably. It looks like we're both pretty deep, though. I'm getting hit by the Scourge. I'm pretty low. My thief just went down now, so he's down on the node. So that's pretty nice. And if I can resustain here, I can res him. And I remember this play, actually. I'm trying to get my heal back. And the ranger doesn't know where I am, by the way, because I was in stealth and I came to this spot that's really hard to see. But the AI has invisible tracking at all times. And the eagle comes and kills me with the F2. Next one's the same game. A bit later in, we're at close. It looks like I've just wandered into this engagement here. This guy's low. I'm very healthy. So he's been 2v1. He just goes, he's just gone down in the 2v1. I've got the Scourge very low. We've killed the Scourge. Looks like there's a stomp in progress. Okay, so the core guard here is going for the cleave kill. So I'm going to Illusion of Life. This is a pretty typical situation here. We cleave over the body, and as soon as that's dead, my guy's full resed again now. So that was okay. That was the play. You could make an argument here that without even Illusion of Life, maybe I could have just raced this body quicker, and I could have rallied him anyway. But I don't know. It was a core guard. He could have counterburst. This made it very safe and very comfortable. I'll tell you that much. And we get that. So, yeah, maybe there was some value to it there. Mediocre. Next one's going to be here towards close a little bit later. We're trying to kill this thief. The fight's dragged towards the beast. That guy goes down. Oh, this one's quite a funny one, actually. This one's pretty weird. I have 2 allies who are both going to go down to the beast. I mean, it's not a joke. There's no word of a lie here. Look at this. Look at this. It's so bad. So I just throw Illusion of Life out. And you'll notice I've cast it. I actually cut one of the casts of this out where I'd misclicked it, by the way. So I've utilized this, 4 times in this one game, and we're only about halfway in. So I can use it quite comfortably like that. I don't know where that pet that killed one of these guys came from with that rages around. But here, so I now have 2 invulnerable resed allies to cleave the beast out with me. And they do actually rally on the beast, by the way. So here you can see I'm mousing over them to check. That does cleanse them of Illusion of Life. They do get full up because the beast is a real rally. So that was kind of a funny one. No value there, let's be honest. I also want to note, because there's no other example of it, when I click this character, even after the beast is dead and it's all said and done, he still has Resurrection Invulnerability on him, like quite a bit later. So there it is. Next, we're rotating into mid, about 100 points later. This Deadeye just scored a kill on my DH. So this is pretty good here. It's a very hot mid. There's DH traps. I think they're my teams, obviously. I have 2 of them, for Christ's sake. But there are downstate enemies and my ally here. So I come up, I Illusion of Life. Oh, and we missed this one. Okay, so we actually missed that. That's such a shame. That would have been such a powerful Illusion of Life. I think I'm a second late with the cast here, so the cast time actually messes us up. So that's pretty low value on that one as well. But wow, that would have been, that's kind of the dream scenario there, and we whiff it ever so slightly. If we'd got that, he would have been up invulnerable, and we could have cleave down the opponent very, very comfortably. We could have actually swung this 2v2, essentially, as it would have turned into a victory for our team, given how glassy the opponents were. That's a real shame. That's a painful one to see. I think that's the last one of the game. This is my first game trying it. All right, so this next play is a really important one. It's going to be a low-value Illusion of Life, if I remember rightly. But it could have been extremely high value, but players don't know what to do, basically, is what we're going to see here. And this is one of the reasons I kind of wanted to spotlight this, so that you guys, at least the watchers, know what to do when you've been Illusion of Life. So this is a situation where I've just rotated to far, when my warrior's been 1vx, or 1v1, I don't know. But he's fighting the Scourge. They're both very low. So I'm going to come along, and there's some annoying obstruction, and my warrior goes down. So we're on far point, and we're actually heavily outnumbered right now. A Mesmer's just got on me. An enemy warrior's just got on my warrior, who was already low. So, you know, it's very volatile. Overall, we're outnumbered. They have 3, we have 2, and he's downstate, okay? But I'm going to cast Illusion of Life here, and they can't stomp him out, and he's invulnerable. So right now, we have 2 plays to make. One, we could kill this Scourge. He's got all kinds of crowd control. He's got tons of health. He's invulnerable. He can do whatever he likes. He can blow this Scourge up, and we're all good. Interestingly, I guess the condies that were already on him while he was in downstate do remain. You don't cleanse as you stand back up. He could do that. Or he can flee and fully commit to fleeing, and I'll mass invis and res him. We just pick whichever one we want to do. Now, personally, because I have GS4 up and I've got Imagined Burden on this build and stuff, I really think we can just go for the kill. So that's what I'm going to do. And I get a bit of weakness on me, which is really kind of nasty. But as I go for the pressure, he's kited off, okay? So he's wasted all of his free time. I don't know what he thinks has happened here. I think he probably thinks he's been Signet of Mercied or something, and he's just trying to leave. So I understand why he's doing that, but he's not looked at who came in. So now he's probably realizing that he has Illusion of Life on him, and I'm alone trying to DPS this down. So what's going through my mind is, okay, this guy is just going to flee all the way and take some aggro, and I'll rally him in Luxury, because this is an easy kill for me here. So I'll just go for the rally. I can Mirror Stomp it, something, by the way, Mesmers can do in the past, and it's quite nice. And, you know, or I could even Stealth Stomp it, or whatever I want to do. So I'm going to kill the Scourge here, and as I kill the Scourge, the Warrior comes back, bringing all of them with him. So what's happened is he's noticed his Illusion of Life and panicked and come back and gone from the rally play. But now all he is rally bait, and he's dragged all the CC and stuff, and I can't save him. And so, you know, I can't stomp this anymore. I got nothing. I go for a Mass Invis to try and heal him up. I whiff my blink. He's back in regular downstate. I have, you know, nothing, basically. I could have played a bit better, honestly, with the blink and stuff. And I do go for a bit more pressure, but now there's a rally. So this is really gross. We're 2v4, actually, am I looking at here? We could have swung this again, but the player didn't know how to utilize Illusion of Life. And we're going to see that quite a few times. Alright, so next we've got opening mid at Kylo. These opening mid engagements, the big team fights, this is where this really matters. It's basically a situation where if you don't burst me, if you don't burst the Mesmer running this skill first, you lose the team fight, basically. I mean, you got a lot of priority targets if this is supplementing like a Firebrand Scourge or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I mass invis to give everyone some stealth for the open. Let's watch how the team fight goes. They have support. We have a Necro up round the side. Interesting to note here, by the way, I can't jaunt up to aggress that. But maybe the comparison between Mass Invis isn't worth it. So here he comes onto this kite spot, and I cast the GS4, by the way, which could be amazing. If they land here, they would chew him up. But they land here instead, so it's kind of a nice spot, actually. Anyway, so I pressure the Necro, get him off of the edge. Well, we don't want him. We take some big damage. I could probably shatter around about now. We keep cleaving, but no. So the team fight's going okay. We score 1 kill. Okay, so they have a downstate Scourge. We have a downstate Scourge. That's what's going on here. You can see. So it's a rally race. Their Firebrand will attempt to Signet of Mercy. He's got a long cast time. He's got plenty of pressure. I don't have either. So I'm gonna Illusion of Life. So my Scourge is now back on the board and invulnerable. Theirs is not. Oh, no, their Scourge got mercied as well. I think they both had, the 2 razors went through. But we start getting kills again now straight away. My Scourge rallies. And we're going to win this team fight here. Because we just... Basically, this is a way of making it so that even if the enemy team gets the first down... you can still come out. So yeah, we're gonna win this team fight. That one was pretty high value, I'd say. And if it's when it is high value, it seems to be very high value. That was pretty nice. Maybe you could make the argument we could have got the res anyway, and that could be true. But we would take a lot of counter pressure for that, which we didn't have to. All right, so next we are in a fight at the windmill. This is home. You notice our Firebrand's dead, but he died at mid in a different engagement, somewhere I wasn't. So I noticed that my ally here is getting pretty low. So I take the blink towards him, waiting for my cooldowns. Oh god, I'm accidentally opening panels and stuff here. Must have been misclicking. So my ally goes down. So I res that. Come back over to the scrapper over here. I've got 15 seconds now. having secured that res to kill the scrapper. Or in 15 seconds, I can res my friend in comfort. So I know he's about to die. So what I've done is stealthed. Well, I was trying to stealth, then I revealed myself. As soon as he dies, we walk over the body. We go for a standard res. And that's another thing. There's a lot of res utility, right? So, like, a Firebrand can precast his Mercy when he knows that the Illusion of Life is about to run out. You know, just that delay, just being able to reposition like that. A Blood Scourge or Necro or whatever can get ready with his Transfuse. So here, we sustained that. Also, in the 15 seconds in the middle, he was able to deliver counter pressure. Here, I get messed up by Retail, but did good damage. And we're going to win that engagement. Next, we're towards the end of the game here. This was actually a pretty good-looking game, it seems. I mean, maybe it was a really easy game. You can never quite tell from the point score. So anyway, we burst this guy out. Oh, yeah, this was pretty nice. So I was killing this guy, and he's just been rezzed. He's been mercied or something. That's not a rally, right? Nobody's in defeat. But I noticed that in the background here, my guy's gone down. So I was focused on this fight. But because I see that, I blink up to the edge to close the gap. And Illusion of Life's got a ridiculous range on it as well. And then I cast Illusion of Life on him from pretty far away. Important to note as well that the Rev was using a blowout there. And it has a high enough radius that he'll stay in it. So we catch him with that. I noticed here that my Ranger was going to try and go for a Signet of Stone res. That wouldn't have gone through because the body would have moved and it just wouldn't have been... I mean, this is a Rev. He wanted to keep this out. So we buy him another 15 seconds. Go back to my original target here. Notice that they're kind of healed up. It's kind of crazy. Instead, take a new target on the Scrapper. Get dazed. Take a new target on the Rev. The Rev is cutting away. Illusion of Life just ended. As soon as it ends, I come back towards the body. I could mass invis this. There's no need. He's already got res. Should I guess I'll keep playing it out. We'll see how the full engagement goes in. They burst the Scourge down a second time. We get the shatter and the kill here. We take a lot of pressure over there. The enemy team ultimately does rally, it seems. Next, it's a Colosseum game. I was looking for mid. This guy's just gone down, an ally of mine, so I'm stealthing to close the gap. Looks like he got 2v1'd. I'm going to Illusion of Life. Apply counter pressure. So again, we got, do we kill or do we just res? At the moment, he had no damage out, really, before I got here. So I'm thinking I'll kill. I Mirror Blade. Okay, so here's a huge mistake. This Soul Beast has been Illusion of Lifed. And instead of trying to help me kill, so he'll rally, instead of walking to a safe place so I can res him, he's wandered onto a massively outnumbered scenario in mid. This is a terrible play from this Ranger. Like, truly awful. Like, incomprehensibly bad. And I go in and try and res, and I get Core Guard bursted, which was dumb from me as well. I mean, awful play, really low value, Illusion of Life. I did nothing on that respawn there as a result of that. Well, kind of. I mean, it's my own stupidity as well, but Jesus Christ. That one's pretty bad. Worst one we've seen. But again, I don't think it's about the skill. I think it's an L2P thing, and people have just kind of forgotten this exists and how it works. Okay, next, we're back in mids. The same Soul Beast is dead. I was bursting a guy that was here, which is why you saw I cast this. However, he's just died. The enemy team has Sword as well, so this Reap, this is an instant Reap that's going to go through. It's a Ranger. There's no way of mitigating or anything. I could actually mass invis and save him from that Reap. I'm going to... well, I couldn't do that because the timing wouldn't work, but, you know, theoretically with the right awareness. Anyway, so I'm going to Illusion of Life this so he doesn't get reaped. Here, this is pretty fascinating. You don't get cleansed when you stand up, and you might think, oh, well, so Illusion of Life is bad because in big team fights, there'll be crazy Condi pressure having just been applied by Scourges and stuff, and you're not going to be able to do anything. However... because Illusion of Life has this obscene invulnerability thing on it, and there was the new patch that means while invulnerable, you don't get hurt by Condis, this has been subtly buffed, making it way stronger than it was back when I used to use it. And seeing the state this Ranger's in right now, that suddenly occurs to me. Take a moment to look at how obscene that is for him right now, and how he has the luxury of time to cleanse all that. Again, he gets the same decision. And we already have a down state this time. He's trying to stomp a Mesmer who just went down. But yeah, we burst that. and rally him. So that was a good illusion of life. High value. So what you got to consider as well is, you know, and basically when you do that, you're going to swing the fight, and you're gonna save a team fight you otherwise wouldn't. And you got to compare that to, if you get 1 or 2 of these plays every game, which I think I have been, is that better than making a couple of decaps or a couple of saves? For casual ranks, I think it probably is a lot better, guys, because, I mean, a lot of the really high value from Portal comes from being in really good comms and swapping team members into other team fights and stuff, which you pull off less frequently in casual ranks than you do in ATs. Unless, I don't know, unless you duo all the time and you really try hard. That's why I say casual. Anyway, yeah, that was a good illusion of life. Not bad. Here, I'll want to note, I had a whole game where I never cast this at all, but nobody on my team died once this game, so that's why. I don't know if we can say that that's bad from this. These are the kind of games that I cut out of tons of games of the day, where we just win instantly with a big snowball, and that's it. So yeah, 0 value on this game, because there was no need for it, but hey, there you go. Next, we're on Temple. We're pushing towards Far quite early in the game. Trying to kill this Reaper. I blink up to the side. We're seeing what we've got. And what have we got exactly? Well, a fairly low Reaper. Fairly low. I mean, it's kind of a 2v2. Well, actually, we're kind of zerging here, to be honest, because we've got this guy as well now. But anyway, our ally down. They're down. Oh my god, okay, actually, I have no memory of this. So I've just been elited by the Reaper, and it hit, right? Which is unfortunate, because I am actually in Mirage Mirror right now. So this guy's got stab. Here, you can see he's got 10 stability. So he can very comfortably finish these 2 bodies off. They're also in a Nightfall, which means he's on GS. He could have Shroud up in a second. This could actually be a really dreamy illusion of life. Okay, so we get a double res, because my guys went down together. Yeah, so here's another thing. When you get rezzed by this, there's no need to, like, dodge as you stand up, I think. Anyway, so now we take the counter pressure. Oh, yeah, this one's a really good one. I mean, and then I can distort stomp, and I can mirror stomp, and yeah, and we rally them. We did have a numbers advantage in that engagement, I'd just like to note. So you can say, oh, well, you won a 3v2 or a 4v2. Oh, big whoop. But, that was actually looking like we were going to lose that fight. I think the utility, that was probably the best demonstration we've seen of it so far. Does that justify it probably for the entire game now? I don't know. It's up to you guys. Also, I noticed just in my discussion of this, by the end of the engagement, look, it's coming back very soon. I'm not traded for manipulations, by the way. I'm not chaos. Next cast is here at Stillness. Same game. Moving towards the buff. I stealth myself. What's this stealth for? Why am I doing this? I don't know. Anyway, I cast the GS4. We've got a downstate Firebrand. Took me a long time to react to that. Oh, okay, so this is a bad one because I didn't react at all in time. I was looking at the wrong stuff. And he just got Death's Judgment. He got killed as I was casting, so 0 value here because I was a dumbass basically, and I didn't do it quick enough. And I got pulled there by the Dragon Hunter there as well. Very low tier gameplay on my part, but yeah, the utility skill could have been very good. Okay, next cast, we're at mid. It looks like we've won this mid. We've got a downstate here. We've got the Spellbreaker here. He's in Rampage. There is a Dagger Storming Thief as well, to be fair. Looks like I'm coming up to give this guy peels. I turn around. We've got a downstate ally. He was being hit by a Rampage and a Dagger Storm at the same time. So we're going to rally this. That's good. We counter kill the Spellbreaker. And look, with the Hollow Pressure and stuff at the same time, just to counter burst. Okay, and we rally there. So yeah, I mean, we got value out of it there. If I didn't have that skill, would my ally have died? I think probably, right? And that wouldn't have gone anywhere near that well. So that's an okay one. Next, I'm rotating towards Far with a Thief. And my Hollow has been outnumbered. It looks like he's just gone down, so I've got here in time. He's 2v1. He's done very well in a 2v1 here. Got these guys plenty low enough. So I can rotate in. I can Illusion of Life. I mean, this is so dreamy. Look at this. He gets point blank shotted. Overcharge shotted. Probably to move him off of the node. I don't think that was a counter for Illusion of Life. You can't react. It's too quick. The radius is big enough that he gets caught by it anyway. So this guy was down. Look, this dude's rotating off right now. He doesn't even realize what's just happened. Oh, I go for the Greatsword 4, which gets obstructed at the perfect time behind that post. How infuriating is that? Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. I've got a hollow ally. We take Shatter Pressure. He uses his downstate 2. My Thief killed this guy as well. And we swing that. So you didn't even really see the Thief in that engagement. What did he do? Did he impact strike that or something? No, I think we saw a regular stomp animation. Next, we're back on Legacy. After quite a few snowbally games in a row, for what it's worth, which has limited my ability to use it. Anyway, so what have we got here? We're snowballing again. We're doing very well here. I go for a GS4. It's obviously fleshed. Okay, so this guy just got cleaved out, basically. Took some pressure. So I Illusion of Life this. So this is a bad Illusion of Life. This wasn't necessary. The only person nearby is a Guardian in a renewed focus, and my Scourge is blood resing anyway. In fact, did it miss? No. So this is a bad one because the res would have happened anyway. This is just learn to play from me. But it also means that there was an opportunity, but we were snowballing anyway, so obviously there were few opportunities for it. Not only have I wasted the skill, I've actually enacted some risk on my team now, because this guy could be counter-killed. And, you know, I've just delayed that resing for another X amount of time. So this one isn't very good at all. And really, that's just my bad. Yeah, and now they're dying over there, and I'm being forced to pull out. That is quite a lot of their team, and we do have the rest of the map, so there's no need to be there. But yeah, that's not a good cast. Next, we're at mid. Looks like the enemy team's actually come back in it quite a bit. I have a very low Dragon Hunter with me. What's with all the Dragon Hunters in these queues? I Illusion of Life to res it. There's not many disengaged plays. There will be some. I feel like most of my memories of using the skill was people disengaging. So this is actually, yeah, this is good. He has no focus. And that's a mistake from the enemy team. They should be focusing this. And he's just backpedaling slightly to safety. I don't think he actually knows what he's doing. I don't think he actually knows he could walk off. But I'm staying with him so that the second he goes down here, like, he should be leaving a lot more. He could have been leaving a lot more. So I make sure I've got clones up to go for a distort res. And I do my best. Ultimately, it doesn't manifest. Once again, all he had to do was walk further away. Now I've got a Fresh Air Ellie on me, who gets a really nice Gale. And I panic dodge early here before the Dragon's Tooth. You'd think I'd know the timing of a Dragon's Tooth, wouldn't you? It's actually really bad Fresh Air Ellie play because he times it all at the same time against a Mirage. But yeah, I get punished for my ineptitude. And also, by the way, I think this is my spawn. It's their spawn. Anyway, yeah, this was a bad play just because the DH move in a bad way. Back to mids. We're unloading some good pressure. The Mirage bursts away really far. Fresh Air Ellie gets on my Scourge. Gets a good burst down. So there's now 2 downs. Fresh Air Ellie, possibly even Obsidian stomping that. Yeah, there's an Obsidian Flesh Stomp. So I just rallied under the nose of the Obsidian Flesh Stomp. Actually, we cleaved this out instantly anyway because we had a Deadeye. So this was a 0 value Illusion of Life. However, I'd just like to note that if this wasn't the situation, that would have been an extremely important utility skill to have. I'll also note that because the kills went through at the same time here, he is clean. He is safe, right? It doesn't matter whether I got it first or the Deadeye got it first. Essentially, this just did nothing there, but it could have done a lot. I don't know. How do we assess that? Anyway, we win mid. Okay, we got a Skyhammer mid fight. We're casting off the side of the node. We notice that our core guard goes down. I res the core guard. So this one here, let's see. He was being rampage stomped, so there was a stability stomp. We actually baited a rampage here because this guy's only used this for stability. This is a rampage stomp. With no one on my team really able to counter pressure, we have our own target. We're not looking at it. I do not have a Firebrand on my team that was going to Mercy. There was no blood. So he was going to die unless I did this. So that's nice. Now what happens? So he flees, and then he goes back in. It's all, like fleeing while in vuln. It's a thing people need to get used to not doing. So he's probably got about 5 seconds before he goes down again. Here we've got this down. I go for a stealth Mirage stomp. Oh, I remember this. This isn't going to be good. Okay, so The guard's gone down again. I've bought us these extra 15 seconds plus his pressure to get this down. All I have to do is dodge the firebrands down state 2, which I don't know when he's going to cast it. I'm in stealth, so, and he knows probably that I'm stealth stomping, so they usually do it quite early if they do that. I'm already halfway through the cast here, so I just have to guess at when he'll use his down state 2, and then I'll be fine. Unfortunately, I'm not running blind on shatter here. I'm running reflects, which is a completely different decision related to the fact we're against a Deadeye, right? So, yeah, I just got to dodge it at the right time. I go for it here, which, by the way, evades the start of a pistol whip, which would have stunned me. A perfectly positioned pistol whip, by the way. Here I go for a shatter, just for a bit of extra pressure. That reveals me. The stuff was about to end anyway. And then he uses the 2 afterwards. So I get knocked back, and the pistol whip does some ridiculous cleave pressure here. The triple pistol whip. And they win that fight. So here we did, this is the first time I've seen this. We did an illusion of life and still lost the team fight. But it was I don't know, a bit of a poor team fight anyway. But we got the kill in the right window. We did the stuff properly. Again, the player that gets it cast on them doesn't pressure enough or do enough or commit to the play properly. They all leave and then panic and come back in. I think it's because people think it's like vengeance and that they'll get defeated when it runs out. Anyway, so that's, I don't know, is that a low value illusion of life, or is it just that I'm not good enough at guessing when to dodge? But there you go. Rotating back into mid here. Looks like I've got a warrior to help me pressure through a firebrand. Deadeye gets on me. Okay, so the Deadeye's just burst my Deadeye. It's 2 Deadeyes around, and there's a Dagger Storm. I'm gonna go for a regular res here, but the Dagger Storm's pressuring me a bit hard, and the body really hard. He's only at 11% health, so I cast Illusion of Life here. Now, it's a very short cast, but as I cast it, I get this guy attempts a shield bash, and I'm sure he's not going for a specific animation, but that would have interrupted me, so I actually distort cast the Illusion of Life. We get the res. And it's a Deadeye I've just rezzed. So the Deadeye could go for a counter kill if he likes. There is a Firebrand bubble up. So this guy is the first guy I think I've seen who actually knew how to, like, no, even he doesn't know how to disengage. I think he's disengaging, so I burst away so that I'll res him. Then I ping him. He's not staying with me. And now he's coming here. But luckily none of the enemy team are pressuring us. So, I mean, it's just so awkward. Listen, if you get Illusion of Life, and you want to flee, just look for the Mesmer that did it to you. So anyway, we res him. So, the total value of that play was we did save a Deadeye. I mean, he was going to be dead. And we've saved him and managed to disengage from mid. That wasn't going too well otherwise. By the way, obviously, if you're questioning the impact of the rest of my builds, that's sort of a separate discussion. You could do this on a comedy build or anything. You know, there's nothing stopping you. Next, we're rotating back towards mids. Deadeye's dead again, to the other Deadeye again. Actually, I think there were like 2 Deadeyes on the enemy team there. There's an air overload as well to cleave that body. I res. So on this occasion, there's not really anything going on, so we definitely can't counter pressure. The Tempest follows. So this is kind of a cool thing here, actually. That Tempest knew that he had to cleave this. But because this guy's disengaging, what it does is it pulls a DPS fully out of the fight. That's another thing you can do, actually. Like, if you just leave, you're still eliminating you're taking an enemy with you because they have to move so far to get the kill, which potentially, like, cleans up the mid-engagement for the rest of your team or whatever. This Tempest leaves and then realizes, oh, hold on, I'm a support, and turns around and goes back, which gives me the luxury to res. Again, he's kiting away. Maybe this is fine, actually, because if he can keep moving, then he can keep moving. So I go for the res. Maybe I could leave that to let him bandage as well, by the way. That's another play. That's another potential thing you can do. And so, yeah, once again, I mean, all I've done here, I think, is I've respawned and resed an ally. There's no opportunities. We've been 3-capped against in this scenario. But at least I kept my Deadeye alive. Maybe I should have stayed up far, actually, in retrospect, looking at this. But hey. Next game, we're opening mid. The quality of the footage is kind of rubbish at the moment, but I think it's because my PC's doing a lot of tasks at the moment, so I do apologize for that. So it looks like I knew my druid was dying here. Maybe I was even going for a bit of a precast. It looks like I knew it was dying for a while. So I cast this on the road. So let's look at this. No one was cleaving this necessarily. So maybe a manual res would have worked on that scenario, actually. But a manual res, if I was doing that, it wouldn't have given me the time to also help cleave this, and the enemy's res would have gone through, and the fight would have continued. What Illusion of Life's value is actually offering here is, one, me the luxury of not being pressured and going into a dangerous area. But number two, and most importantly, my damage plus his damage can now hit this body, and we can keep it down. That's actually what Illusion of Life has done here. Assuming here I got obstructed on the ramp. What the hell? It's okay because the guy vapor forms. So the vapor form's actually kind of interesting because it kind of counters my Illusion of Life here. It delays the rally. Anyway, we take a mirror blade and a mind rack, and we get our friend up. Another snowball game here with 0 deaths on my team. So I got 0 casts. That actually might have been a death. Looks like the enemy team did get some points somewhere, but that could have just been their early close point, and we were very conservative before finally going up and neutralizing it. But so nothing there. All right, on Temple, rotating to close, where a 1v1 is in action. I mass invis to bail this guy out. Wait, why are we bailing people out? I don't understand the context here. Well, it looks like we've got a kill. So we pressure down the chrono. That's fine. Blink up. There's an enemy mirage I think I'm hunting right now. Okay, all right, so here it is. Sorry, I probably played a little bit early. So, oh, I have 2 Deadeyes here with the same name. Right. Well, so one of them's just died here. I illusory ambush to get myself up the ledge. There's a bit of RNG on that, but thankfully we got it. The enemy mirage stealths for a stomp over the body. So he probably would have denied that with a port, and maybe I could have gone for a res. I would have taken a fair amount of pressure from that. I don't really have any clones up. Anyway, so, and I don't have Distort available. That had been used earlier in the game. So yeah, I Illusion of Life. That's probably okay. Do we score the counter kill now? He Shadow Refuges in it. I guess that the Mirage is nearby. So the Shadow Refuge is okay, because they don't know where we are anymore. And I'm going to further re-stealth. And we can just res and luxury here. There's absolutely no risk with the Shadow Refuge. But my guy reveals himself with a Death's Judgment. So you can see he's got reveals. So right as he's vulnerable again, he lets the enemies know where he is. But we don't get punished, and I res it. That was a good play, right? The skill specifically there. If I'd gone for a manual res, there's a good chance I would have been cleaved and interrupted and hurt. That was alright, I think. Next one is almost back-to-back with the previous one. You'll notice here. And it cools down pretty quick. So we're towards mid here. What's going on? Pressure in this Mirage. Just put a lot of vulnerability on him. Did some good damage. Go for a GS4. He's in Distort, so it misses. So here I'm going to go for Illusion of Life when I could have obviously just pressed F. Which is a good idea here. Maybe I knew this in the time. There's a Deadeye that's actually shooting at me. If I'd gone for a regular res, I wouldn't have had time. He probably would have pressured me really hard. Probably. I mean, I could dodge. I could have spent Mass Invis on this. I can spend it on something else later, though. So here we Illusion of Life. We keep the momentum going. We just got to pressure this down. Take an ambush. Go into sword. Do I get the kill? So here he jaunted away slightly to the side. Okay, and then I stealth. Wait, why don't I have my own Mass Invis there? I'm not revealed either. Why don't I have my own Mass Invis? Was that some weird clunkiness with the Torch 4? Anyway, so now we pressure over the body after it's down. Illusion of Life just re-ticked on my Ranger, who, even on post-commentary, I don't know where he's gone. He's certainly not stayed with me. Has he gone under there? He's nearby, but I don't know if they're stomping him. So now it's our job to cleave this. It's an Obsidian Flesh res. I go for the knockback as soon as Obsidian Flesh ends. Mirror Blade. I'm being shot by the Deadeye. Okay, we get the rally. He's back in the game. So that was quite a long sequence of events. I guess whether the skill was good or not depends on whether that enemy Deadeye at the start would have been able to kill me or cleave him hard. All right, there's going to be a couple of casts here. This was a temple game where there was a very long tranquility troll and stall. So that's what I've been doing here at the start, preventing them from going for me. I go up to the kite spot, but the enemy mirage is on me very hard, and this guy comes down and he's dead. So I'm basically a goner here, unless I can torch 4 and get out. So while I'm here, I Illusion of Life. I really didn't have any time there, did I? I had none. So I Illusion of Life my guy, but I go down. So his win condition, what he can do is he can spend the 15 seconds trolling the buff and waiting for an ally to get in. And there's a thief capping at the moment. So this actually allows us to... I mean, my own shatter interrupted that, to tell you the truth. But yeah, he's got 15 seconds to go ahead and deal with that now. I get stomped out. This ally comes in, so again, if there is a pretty clear animation of Illusion of Life, by the way. If my Mesmer knew what this guy could have done is come under here, and the Mesmer could have rezzed, and we could have dealt with that perfectly fine. The Mesmer doesn't know, so this guy double dodges out and just goes down. He does move into the other Deadeye. They interrupt the res. Okay, so here, that was actually kind of cool. So as I die... I helped keep my range alive, who could keep stalling it. And that stall goes on so long, skipping ahead here, that hilariously, we actually make the exact same play. So I've been decapping across the map here, by the way. I've only just got back down now that everything's neutral. So he's down. So I take the cast. Oh, they cleave him out. That's pretty interesting. Or was that a stomp? Was I too... They got that body very quickly there. I guess this range is quite squishy because he's been going down pretty fast. So yeah, Illusion of Life, I do cast there and could have been the exact same play again. But, I die as I cast on the same player and everything. But that was a nice dodge from this guy as well here. And he had to pop Signet to do that. But unfortunately, I guess I was late with that one. Alright, so last game, I actually played this this morning, right before recording this video. This is on Colosseum. Let's see how we do. Get a good Greatsword 4 here on this enemy Reaper as I'm fighting. We've scored this kill here as well. Mid's looking pretty good. But now I see that my Scourge is down. So as soon as I see my Scourge is down, I blink. Come over to the side here. So there is an enemy hollow stomping here. It's kind of hard to see because of the user interface. It's not even skill animations. It's just the user interface that's making this difficult. But you can see he's actually quite low. So potentially Illusion of Life isn't necessary. I could like Mirror Blade, but there's travel time on the Mirror Blade, or even just an ambush maybe. Maybe he could actually have cleaved that guy. But we don't know, right? Maybe he has IED up. Maybe he has an Elixir S in waiting. Maybe he has stab or, just that little bit of extra health to get through here. So this is in the middle of a stomp. I'm going to Illusion of Life. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to see. Right as I cast it, the hollow goes down. Our guy's up, though, and invulnerable and perfectly fine. Now, also behind me, as this is going on, my other Scourge just went down, where we were looking at a second ago. But basically, the entire enemy team is in down state now, except this one dude here that we're looking at. As to the Illusion of Life play itself, this guy rezzed and barriered the hell out of himself, and now has rallied, obviously. So that was okay. Was it necessary? Maybe not, but it was certainly a lot safer than if I didn't have it. So next, a bit later in the game, I've just helped clear mid, and you'll notice that I'm rotating out of mid without even capping it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've been watching this Farpoint 1v1 where my guy's not doing very well. Okay, so I have a Mirage 1v1ing a Hollow, and he just died. He just lost. So that's why I'm not a mid. I'll let my Necro do that. I've just pushed really fast. I've stealthed. I've blinked. I've ambushed towards him. Covered a massive gap. And now I'm going to Illusion of Life. Now, I cast this in the middle of an overcharged shot. Again, it's being used to get him off the node and little more. And even, I mean, look at this. This is amazing to look back and post commentary. This skill is broken, guys. I don't know, right? So watch. I cast, and he's not in that ring. The ring is like here. He's not in it. Look at it. It casts here, and he's up. He's up, baby. I mean, that's bad. Also, he just used his downstate too, so he's in stealth. So this Hollow doesn't even know that a res just went through. That's why you can see he's not even doing anything. So now, again, so the guys here, do we count a kill or not? So this is pretty dreamy, right? My 1v1er needed a plus, and I've plus too late, basically. I mean, I think I was actually really on the ball there, getting here as fast as I did. I've plus too late. He's lost his 1v1, and we get to keep fighting, basically, for all this time. And the idea is that hopefully he's blown cooldowns. So now I notice, by the way, my Mesmer didn't even get through Elixir S, and this guy had like loads of boons and sustain available. So I don't know how long they were 1v1ing for, but it was pretty one-sided. This guy lost it pretty hard because, you know, Elixir S is still up and stuff. And in any +1 scenario, you don't want to see that. So anyway, we counter-pressure him hard enough, and obviously an enemy's coming as well, so it's a 2v2. But we come in harder that the Hollow isn't ready and waiting for when the 15 seconds runs out. Now, that could just be because the Hollow doesn't know the skill well enough and isn't expecting it. So I mass invis us to go for the res. However, that Reaper kills me very quick. I mean, I know how much damage Reapers could do. I've spent plenty of time playing it. That felt really fast to me. I died so quick. See, look, that's a 21k death spiral. He must be on Berserker Amulet or something. A 21k death spiral? Come on, man. That's crazy. You usually see that goes up to like maybe 14 or 15 in a beautiful scenario. Anyway, so I die really hard there. I didn't expect to die that fast. I thought, oh, look, I got the massive Viz res, blah, blah, blah. This Reaper was, you know, saw what was going on, though. While the Hollow didn't, the Reaper did. And, yeah, so we lose this, ultimately. But I think the skill was very good. And I think it's just because, overall, you know, not enough cooldowns have been blown, and once again, once he rallied, he kind of kited. He wasn't very high impact. What I could have done as well, by the way, is just left. Right, I didn't have to massive Visigo for that. And if I'd been a bit more careful thinking about the Reaper, overall, just keeping it about the skill though. I think the skill's all right. Next, once again, I'm kiting out of mid, having just killed someone near it. Oh, it's the same situation. So I'm kiting. Wow, this is so weird. Necro has been left to cap mid. Close, they're doing all right. So, once again, my Mirage has been 1v1ing at far point. It looks like he got plussed, though. There's a Hollow here, but on the minimap we can see that there's a Reaper nearby as well. Is this the Reaper or is that a pet? I don't know. Well, it can't be a pet because there's no range in it by that. It has to be a Reaper, right? So, he's lost because he hasn't been able to kite away. So, last time, the Reaper wasn't even here yet. And it kind of didn't work for us. But here, I'm going for it. Illusion of Life. They haven't seen me. Okay, the Hollow has. And he's net shotted me. And he's going to try and counter CC. Here, I've Illusion of Life under the stomp. I've done my burst. Could have followed up slightly better with the Mind Rack. But we do get it. The Hollow doesn't like the look of this at all, by the way. And he's just, he's used his Shockwave and whatnot. I'm going to mass invis. And I get prime lighted in the middle of the mass invis. Couldn't quite see that. And well within the 15 seconds. So this time my Mesmer went ham, by the way. This was very good. He cleaved. So yeah, perfect. That's the skill and that's the dream that you just saw there. That's beautiful. And so now we can 2v1 this. I'm a bit far away. Perfect. Look at that. And so we just swung. That is really, really, really nice. So you got to compare that, and what was that? That was my third Illusion of Life this game, and we're not even that far in. We're going to win this really hard now. That's like a game-changing thing. You got to compare the value of that to the value of Portal, now that Portal only lasts like 30 seconds or so, yeah? And with everything else done, I go to the spawn camp. This is not regular game of the day. Do we get another play as well, this same game? It looks like I do. One final Illusion of Life. The enemy team's going for a big mid. We have a very low Guardian, who I'm obviously going to be aware of. We get the Hollow down. The Guardian goes down as well. So I just take the second to cast that off to the sides. A manual res there probably wouldn't have gone too well. There probably would have been dazes and nasty stuff. Probably wouldn't have had time to stealth myself on the body. Maybe while I was still stood up here, I could have accomplished that with a massive viz. Anyway, my Guardian gets up. The Guardian actually pressures and does the right thing as well while he's there. How long did that take us? Maybe 4 or 5 seconds? He still had another 10 waiting. And now we can very comfortably kill that Mirage if he stays around and he knows to kite out. So that's pretty high value as well. So there you go. There's a couple of whiffs in there. On average, how many casts am I getting? Maybe 2 or 3 casts a match, maybe? Unless we snowball and then you kind of don't see it. I think it's a really good skill. I quite like it. And I guess we'll see how people play with it as time goes forward. I've always thought it's very good, but people tend to forget, I guess, you know, what's valuable. And I don't know. It takes a long time for people to address what utilities are. So let me know what you guys think. Is this actually worth running in these kinds of queues? What do you think of my assessment of some of these? And yeah, we'll see how it goes going forward. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll probably have another bit of a video on the topic of Weaver, which you saw me playing quite recently with a sword pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. Catch you next time.